All right, guys, we are back in studio. This is probably the last time for a month that we're all in studio. Apparently you guys didn't like our stories about the Raises Act or the Learns Act. Those are probably two of our least watched or listened to shows, but it was one of our highest watched podcasts. So I guess it's give and take. But tonight we're going to get back to talking about headlines. We're going to talk about what Zelensky said about your children and what they may have to do. We're going to talk a little bit about what Putin said. Is there really a place for a world without Russia? Beetlejuice. You're going to have to call her name 3 times because she's out of here. Welcome to the patio.
I saw a man rob a bank when I was 10. No, I didn't see the wrong kind of wish that I would see. I grew up. Thought was living in my head, figured the life that I was living, I'd be better off dead.
Hey, welcome, Pationians. Welcome, Pationians. This is the last time there'll be all 4 of us in studio. We're probably going to be bringing some guests on here in the near future. We got quite a list of people that want to join us from various things. All of them want to talk about bourbon. At least I think they do. They better be ready to talk about bourbon. But look, let's talk about bourbon. I gave up bourbon for Lent.
Did you?
Yes. So I got about 3 or 4 weeks left, something like that.
What denomination?
That was a weird noise.
It was.
I am Methodist.
Either they're like Catholic Light, something like that.
Catholic Light.
So through my and Terry's friendship, I found out that Methodist and Catholic are a whole lot alike.
We're very methodical. Methodists are very methodical.
Methodical Methodist.
I'm a Methodist.
Last night in studio for DW. DW, how goes it this week?
No, it goes it well.
It goes well.
What a philosophizer.
And Scoff, thankful for the rain. He's back with us.
Yep. I'm always thankful for the rain. I would have had to go softball practicing tonight if
so you know what? You know what we did not do?
What's that?
We did not let ChatGPT write a song for us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was going to do that today. We got to table that till next week. Gary, if you listened, no one listened. So they probably don't know what the hell we're talking about. Go listen to this Tuesday episode. You'll know what we're talking about.
My wife listened. She wasn't very happy with it, but she listened.
That's because your first tune was I made my wife mad and she hit me with a shoe. Was that it?
I thought that was good.
It was a great. They were awesome. I said, please don't throw that shoe.
Please don't throw that
shoe. And she actually threw multiple shoes.
Multiples. And Fortenberry. Fortenberry's been to Dallas and back.
That's right. Fortenberry does Dallas. We was there.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I'm sore, but
is it Fortenberry Nation does Dallas? So it's like a group outing. Is this a group outing?
The girls did really well. They finished second again.
What'd you learn from this trip? What did you learn?
If you ain't first, you're last.
No, I actually.
Even if it's by like 3 100ths.
I learned that in reality, they're one of the top teams in the country. I'll be honest with you, nobody really knew that going in because they practice terrible, but they perform on the stage.
Show up well.
Yeah, I know it's damn to sing.
I guess when he asked me, I should have said something about our weekend.
You should have. Just Donnie, or not Donnie, but Donnie's little girl.
Donnie's living vicariously through his daughter, so he did awesome.
Hey, their team's like. Terry's seen them play. Like
y'all didn't come in second. Y'all won.
Man, they're not normal. Yeah, we won the gold division, beat a great Ozark team, qualified for nationals in volleyball.
Sweet. Yeah, they had to go all the way to New Orleans to play a team from Arkansas. Isn't that crazy?
That's kind of wild. Fayetteville. Hey, that's a good team. Man.
Hey, all our kids are doing well. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we played
yeah.
Scoff's team. Scoff's team beat our baseball team, but then they went to win and.
Yeah, we got demolished.
Yeah, we're going to actually talk about youth sports and some of the craziness going on there. We have some guests. We're going to do that in the very near future.
Yep.
But in the meantime, let's hit some of these headlines.
Let's hit them.
Vladimir Zelensky, the man that plays the piano with his privates, did he actually say U.S. will send its kids to war for Ukraine?
I don't know.
On the 1-year anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of the Ukraine, President piano player held a lengthy press conference in Kiev answering questions from journalists. In the briefing, he answered a wide range of questions. These include whether he believes his Russian counterpart might invade another country. There's a claim that Zelensky has circulated online, which many suggest shows the leader calling on the United States to send children to fight in the Ukraine.
By send children, does he mean like
Well, I'm assuming he probably means
Sons and daughters are not
drafts. He means the draft. He means the draft.
So I guess he's saying that if they fall, then we're going to have a huge issue on our hands. And
No,
we'll have to go
if
to
they
war.
fall, they'll have a huge issue on their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
think
just
that's what
sit
he said.
back, right?
I mean, I have zero belief that Russia's goal is to take over Europe. I'm not sure
No.
where this.
You know,
Propaganda
as
came
more
from.
information comes out, there were a lot of Nazis in the Ukraine.
Still are, yeah.
There still
there
are.
still are.
And
You
that's
see
what they
the
claimed they
pictures.
were really fighting against.
Well, I don't know about that. It's a land grab. You
It's
know,
a land-
they
it's
ain't
a-
got. Yeah, they ain't got to pretend they're fighting Nazis.
It's
but,
a last ditch flex move for Putin. Is
Yeah.
what it is. Take back something.
but
You know.
they're not going to Poland.
No.
They're not. I mean, they might take some more of the old Russian bloc.
Well, they
which-
can't even take Ukraine at this point.
Well, that's true.
I don't think Russia will touch a NATO nation.
If you were the superior and dominant force, don't you think you could have rolled through that?
Yeah, I mean, plus being a what's the word I want to use? A typical battlefield where everybody has a uniform and you don't have to go ask, "Hey, are you my enemy?"
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Are we fighting you?
Are we fighting? Apparently, some of the Russians we hear, you hear such a mixed bag from the media, right? You hear some of the Russians saying that they're no longer wanting to fight the war, right? They're fighting against their
I
brothers.
fully believe that.
But I think there's truth from both sides. But there's also belief that Putin made and actually Medvedev, I heard about this one yesterday. I've been looking into it a little bit. He makes a statement that sounds almost harmless at first and more of a threat, but he makes a statement about the world we do not want a world without Russia. And that doesn't sound like much, but what it references is something Medvedev wrote about and said, or a guy named Duggan wrote about it and said many, many years ago. And what he was referring to is that the West wants to break up Russia into all these parts. And part of their ability to use nuclear weapons if they feel that the country is threatened. And a lot of people think that this guy could really decide to annihilate the world before he allows Russia to be destroyed.
Well, I mean, in reality, how broken is Russia already?
I don't think
kinda
we
hard
know.
to say, right?
It's very hard to say.
Yeah.
Look, you know, their nuclear stockpile. What does it consist of? I mean, that's an honest question.
Well, how old is it? And how
That's
well
what I'm
maintained
getting at.
is
I
it?
mean, is this stuff that's going to fall apart on the launch pad? I mean,
I'm sure they have crap.
I'm sure it's
you know,
functional.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But
They claim they got a sub that will create a tidal wave like 500 miles tall. Or
Yeah, I
something
heard
like that.
about that. And they also can control the. Hold on, what was the?
how does that work?
Not the new
Seismic. They can make
San Andreas
San
fault.
Andreas fault.
That's
Look,
right.
raise your hand if you'd be upset if California was knocked off into the ocean. I don't know many Americans that would, other than a few people out there that.
As long as it didn't kill anybody, I wouldn't care.
All right, look,
I think that would be hard to do, Gary.
they have really, really good burritos in San Diego.
There's good burritos in Marion.
They're not as good as the ones in San Diego.
We'll
I
learn how to
promise.
make San Diego burritos.
All right.
But so, okay, we got that going on. Then, wasn't it just last week that Biden goes over and pledges, what, 500 million or something like that? Or is it billion? Even?
Billion is billion.
So how much dirt does this Zelensky guy
Well,
have
hold on.
Biden?
Did you hear about today? Or yesterday maybe. Janet Yellen, who's the head of the Fed, Federal Reserve.
No, SEC's a conference.
That's a dominant football
It's
conference.
also political
And basketball
body,
now.
but I think she's head of Federal Reserve.
Baseball.
She goes over and pledges
Track.
$9 billion for schools in the Ukraine.
Oh wow.
Well,
What could we do with our schools in the U.S. with $9 billion?
They're also getting a pension too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
saw that.
so the head of teachers union from the United States visits Ukraine. Week later, teachers now have some type of weird pension that they never had before. They're not teaching anybody right now. Can you imagine trying to teach? We can't even teach through COVID. How can you teach through
Through a war.
Through a war.
Like your whole country's getting
Then-
shot at and blown up.
Then no telling Janet Yellen goes over and tells them $9 billion for teachers. Okay, that whole bill we were just talking about of giving every teacher in Arkansas a raise was like $300 million. So for $9 billion, what could we do to the education system?
Dang, Jamie Charlie
here
would be
in the
making
United
bank,
States?
son.
Well, first of all, you could add more teachers
You could add them. Yeah. You could
because I think we can all agree that's what teachers need is more teachers.
My mom
Teachers,
telling me.
I think all of us
Teachers
need
mean
more. You need a
teachers
break? We
mean
need to
more
stop.
teachers.
No, I'll text her from my watch. Tell her I'll call
Oh,
her
he's
back.
watching it.
That's mama, man. It's your mama.
Well, maybe she's watching live. No, we're not live.
Yeah, mom's
But-
watching live.
But Janet Yellen gives $9 billion for schools,
Insane.
or teachers. It's
So-
insane. How? I mean, look, we can't get money like that in the United States. The state of Arkansas, they can't just go, I'm going to go down there and give them $9 billion to improve their schools.
Well, you know what? If
We're probably the size of Ukraine.
if Ukraine are money launderers for us, you gotta feed them back some more money. You know, that's what happens.
So here we are we're propping up their infrastructure. We're supplying them military. Now we're giving pension to people. We're paying for schools. I mean, at some point, do we get to claim them as a
Dependent.
Oh, we can claim them as dependents.
yeah?
So Texas is about the same size as Ukraine, which I'm surprised by.
Physically or population?
Physically, landmass wise, Texas is about the size of Ukraine. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought Texas would be much larger. I thought Ukraine was
Everything's
more
weird.
the size of
Everything's
New
bigger
Jersey
in
or something.
Texas.
So we got.
Except Ukraine.
I got some guys from the Netherlands that I'm training this week, and to drive from one side of the country to the other takes about 3 hours.
That's pretty sweet.
So
man.
when you really think about it, you can't drive across Arkansas in 3 hours.
No,
No, it's
that's
about
fine.
five.
you make it a Little Rock.
I mean that's
Oh, no,
wild
Little
when
Rock's
you think about
hour
it.
and a half, 2 hours. Come on, Gary.
Yeah.
Come
When I
on,
drive,
Gary.
It's
you gotta be
forced
safe.
forced miss 4 hours.
Yeah.
How long-
He said it's 3
How long
hours.
does it take to
just
get
lower.
to
Hold on.
Fayetteville's what, 6?
Nah, about
5
4 and a
and a
half.
Hold on. There's always construction, so it's at least 2.5 hours. Okay. All right. There's
Some of
always
them-
construction
them
on
damn
that
semi-trucks.
interstate. Always.
Do you drive that slow?
No, it's the construction.
And I
it's
bet
just
he
construction.
Gary drives a mile under the speed limit.
No,
probably.
no. I always go 5 over. That's what
My
I do.
speed depends on if I'm drinking or not.
You go slower.
He goes slower if he's been drinking.
Well, I try to stay around the speed limit if I'm drinking.
You're a terrible example.
But don't go below because then you'll look suspicious.
But
So-
at least you don't go too fast.
Money to Arkansas. This isn't, or to Arkansas. I wish it was, or to Ukraine. And this billions of euros. This can't be right though. It said January 24th, 2022 through January 15th, 2023. It says the United States is at 73 billion. I thought it was way more than that. The EU is at 35, so we're twice as much as all of the rest of the European Union. The UK is at 8.3. Well, I don't. Then it's got Germany listed at 6. I thought Germany was part of the EU.
Yeah.
Canada has given 4 million.
Million?
Billion. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say.
Poland 3.
Damn.
Joker.
So tell me, all right. So something that bugs me, and I haven't done the old Google machine or the Chat GPT. Why do they need that much money? What do they do with the money?
What would happen if we stopped?
Well, they'll have.
Giving it.
They'll,
All right, so
they'll
you
have
need
life
money
after war.
but you need money to buy stuff, right?
Yeah,
You need
but
money
if
to buy
it-
stuff. So who are you paying for stuff that's not? So if we need something donated, we're donating stuff, right?
Yep.
The Americans are very generous people.
Not by choice.
No, but they are. If there is a disaster,
We just shut that mess down.
and you set up a GoFundMe, Americans will go
Hey,
and donate money.
Does our government get a tax write-off for donating?
No,
all
we
this
get
money?
more debt.
No, but you know what we
We
do
get more debt.
You know what we do get if we take. How much did we give? 73 billion.
73 billion. I thought it was more.
You
than
take $73 billion, you inject it into Europe. They have to spend $73 billion of U.S. currency, which also falsely props up the dollar.
that. So the big talk is about the euro. No, I'm sorry, the oil dollar. See,
Inflation.
this is
Yes.
Sucks.
Oh.
well, but this is
It's
where
big.
this is where Russia may have more power, and the fact that we are weak on the global front. When the dollar was used for global currency, the way that was established was all oil transactions globally are settled in the U.S. dollar. Oil is as if it's instead of really the gold standard, it's the oil standard.
But it was like based on the dominant currency at that
No.
point.
No,
right?
it wasn't. It was
It
more
was
just
based on-
everybody agreed to it.
We agreed to be
The oil
OPEC's
folks.
bitch.
Brethrenworth, or there
We'll
was some
fight you
place
for oil.
There was a place in the U.S.
100%.
that all these world powers came, and they decided that oil would be exchanged based on the dollar. So every oil transaction is settled in dollars. So in China, they buy it in U.S. dollars and then convert it to yuan or whatever their currency is. Well, Russia is limited on what they can sell a barrel of oil based on U.S. dollars. But what happens if they decide to sell oil based on gold? So initially, they sell oil based on the gold price of gold today. Say, what is it? Probably $1,400 an ounce or something.
Yeah.
But what happens when the price goes up, it no longer tracks the dollar. Demand goes up. Now the price of gold is tied back to oil, and the gold goes up, but the dollar begins to collapse.
What happens when the OPEC decides to quit using the dollar?
And look,
Well,
if
that's a good
you
question.
think they're on our side, they are not.
From my
It's about
understanding,
money, man.
China is buying up gold like crazy right
They
now.
are.
Well,
and
why
there's
not?
a reason.
Because they're about to start the international global currency is my understanding. That's the idea out there.
I got news for you. That's what the progressives want.
I mean, does
Yeah.
That's what our
crypto
leaders
not
want.
fit that?
It does,
You would think it does.
but they don't want Bitcoin. Because,
You can't control
they don't.
crypto.
but what they want is a central bank digital currency. And
But it
you're
ha-
going to hear that. Look up CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. The World Economic
I
Forum.
bought some CBD.
Yeah, that's legal.
Yeah, in New
Jamie, it
Orleans.
wasn't CBD that you
In New
had,
Orleans,
so
and you ended up sleeping somewhere you shouldn't have.
that's 3 different letters. The first one's
central
a T.
bank digital currency is what they want because they want to be able to control it. And what that does, guess what that does? Your cash transactions are now trackable. If you don't have green paper dollars, every transaction is trackable and taxable.
Go to Walmart.
Oh, they can-
what's all signs of Walmart? No cash.
Yeah, you can check
No
yourself
cash.
out too.
No cash.
So they
I actually prefer to check.
so they
I
can,
do too.
they can tax you more. That's crazy. Why would they want to do that?
Well, because there's a cash right now. There's a cash economy out here.
Isn't it a crazy thing that we sit here and we talk about like a global dollar when we can't get along at all about anything?
Well, some people would argue that
Isn't it wild?
that's the reason we're not at World War III right now. Is simply because all the economies are tied together.
Yeah, because one
all tied together.
one affects the other.
Well,
China
that's-
needs the U.S. U.S. needs China.
It's-
Russia needs China. Everybody needs each other.
It's the only power we have over Russia is economic sanctions. I mean, look, we're
It
half
is.
a world away. No one wants to send nukes that way. No one wants to send nukes back this way. Look, that's why the Cold War worked. That's why we were worried back in the 60s, long before we were born, when they were bringing nukes into Cuba. Right?
I think we should
mean,
just fight.
I
I'll
was gonna
fight
say,
Zelensky right now if we can just stop sending all our money over there.
Did war give us a checks and balance system that we might really need as a civilization?
Yeah, but doesn't it feel like something's different this time?
So you
Yeah,
asked, what'd you ask?
Did
Do
war?
we need war as a checks and balance
So,
system?
well, hold
It's
on,
to
hold on.
kind of reset the
I think so.
Now I took it differently. I took it differently. For you to say World War I and II or whatever gave us the world we have today, that everything's tied together. Is that not what you were saying?
Well, it is, but does war not serve a purpose of also resetting the social construct as we see it? I mean, like, let's look. I mean,
Well, are you talking about a culture war? Or are you
I'm
talking about a
talking
boots on the
I'm talking
ground
about
war,
I'm
or
talking
war
war
between countries?
I'm talking about war between countries.
So
Because it's-
essentially what you're talking about is fighting.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. People
So,
dying.
You ever watch
and-
the Discovery Channel?
Never heard of it.
yes,
If you watch the Discovery Channel, what do you see on the Discovery Channel?
Move your camera
Shark
this way.
Week.
That's what's throwing me off.
I see Shark Week.
So on the Discovery
Then it looks
Channel,
like you're looking this way. There you go.
on the Discovery Channel all the time, what do you see? You see things fighting. They're animals. They fight.
Hitler.
What makes us feel like you do see Hitler on the Discovery
You
Channel?
watch the White
no,
Power
talking-
Power Discovery Channel. It's only on Amazon Prime.
I swear they have Hitler
So-
stuff.
He
all
watches
the time.
Hitler Week.
There's all the time. In
Shark
color. He
Week.
watched Hitler in color.
I heard they're getting rid of Shark Week. They're
They
gonna
are.
They're gonna get Hitler.
No,
Week
but
now.
seriously, like
People are offended
everything,
by the white sharks.
everything that has breath in its lungs and blood in its veins fight. So why do we as humans think that we're exempt
They
from
were
that?
above
No, we
it?
think we're exempt from that. We're not.
Well, but don't you fight almost every day? I mean, you can
No,
every
we don't.
no, we do, but it's different fighting. You are fighting every day on TikTok
Sometimes
with somebody.
But
I ain't been a
But
good
that's
fighter.
what we fight
it's ingrained
today.
in us. No, yeah, but it's ingrained in us too. I'm with Donnie.
Sometimes we
We're
fight.
violent.
Sometimes
We're violent people.
But
Sometimes,
you
sometimes we fight
everything
within
is.
ourselves though too. So we're always fighting.
Everything does. So what makes us feel like the human race that we're exempt from fighting? We're not. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be fights. It's never going to go away.
And sometimes it needs to be settled with fisticuffs.
World peace ain't a thing. It ain't happening, people.
But you talked about social constructs. Talk about that a little bit. more.
Okay, so let's go back to at the end of the Napoleon Wars. So they had the
Napoleon
the
Dynamite and
the Treaty of Versailles. Is that
Versailles.
Versailles?
Yeah,
Versailles.
I was taller than him.
So
You sure?
this treaty
Maybe.
it ran for 100 years, and then you turn around and it fell apart. All these countries started grouping together. Then you had World War One, and then they went to that was the Treaty of Versailles. I can't remember what they did after the Napoleon Wars.
So we're going to fact check you.
Yeah, they did fact check me.
We're going to fact check you.
The treaty they had before during the Napoleonic Wars that ended. They went into World War One. Those treaties failed. They had the New Alliance. Went into
Is
World
it
War
not
II.
true though? World War One theoretically created the Third Reich.
Second Reich.
Second Reich.
Second
Sorry, yep, the Second
Yeah.
Reich.
And it also pulled us out of the Depression. So there's that.
That's World War Two.
Oh, my bad. World War II. My bad.
Men fought like men.
You damn
And
right.
I
they
mean,
did.
that's not just an American thing. That's
No.
all the countries' thing. Those men fought like men.
So will our next war look like that?
No,
No, I don't think
but
so.
here's the
We're
thing.
too far technologically for it to look like that.
Animals need strife to grow. I'm sorry, that's just
Survival to finish. Finish.
yes. I mean, we put signs on buckets now for people not to drown in them. I mean, let that sink in.
We do.
It's for you, man.
Yes, for me.
We talk a lot about war. Look, Russia's not the only one we're going to war with. We going Wuhan. Me and Gary talked about this a lot the other night, and I knew Gary was. Or if Jamie listened, he was chomping at the bit. Look, the Department of Energy.
Yes.
Who they come
Do
out
y'all
left
know
field.
anything about the Department of Energy?
Stay in your lane.
I know that
energy.
they just said that Wuhan virus
Stay in your
came
lane.
from a lab and it came from China, and it's the China virus.
China.
So it's the Department of
China.
Energy?
Department of Energy.
Yes,
Do
yes.
y'all
Department
know
of
that
Energy.
they have one of the baddest SWAT teams in the entire United States?
More so than the
hope
IRS.
They come out and give you
Man,
they
do you
come out and
know
give you the
why?
shocker.
Well, because they protect nuclear crap, right? So these dudes are the most squared away, like prior special
They run
forces
them go.
guys. They might give you the shocker. I don't know, but there's some bad dudes. They train all the time and do very little.
All right, so Jamie, this is your opportunity now. I know you've been dying ever since you heard us talking about it. What you got to say? Come on, this is your time to shine.
Hydrate.
Oh, he's getting ready. He's
getting
ready. His voice, he's chomping,
Wetting his whistle.
wetting his whistle.
I mean, I can't say nothing that hasn't already been said, but it was a scam from the get go. Everybody knew it. Our government lied to us, and we should be pitchforks on the White House right now,
What are you talking about?
releasing the. You talking about Wahoo?
Yeah,
Wahoo.
wow. The virus came from a
I know what
lab
you're
in
talking
China.
about.
Yeah, it came from a lab in China. Who would have thought that the novel COVID virus came from the novel COVID virus lab? Who would have thunk it?
John
thought we
Stewart
knew
did. John
this.
Yeah,
Stewart,
John Stewart called it out. He said,
John Stewart called it out.
he said a pangolin looked at a rooster's quackler or whatever it is, and
No, people lost their livelihood overstating that. They were like YouTube channels were shut down because they said that. People were canceled. because
So,
they
but
said that.
isn't it crazy that that's what everyone said initially? You know, like
Well,
everyone
but-
was like,
but-
"Oh, it possibly came," and then all of a sudden it just
And we talk about
disappeared.
propaganda.
I think it
That's
depends
propaganda.
on. I think it depends on where you get your news
Look,
sources. Where we were listening to said it, but it's obvious that Twitter was being censored, right?
Definitely.
Facebook, Twitter. I mean, everybody. So me and Wes was talking the other day, and we was discussing.
Wuhan.
No, we was discussing Joe Rogan, and he said, I like Joe Rogan. I don't necessarily agree with his politics, but he has some great guests. I said, have you listened to Dr. Robert Malone? He said, I have not. I'll go check it out.
How did he miss that?
I don't even know who that is.
He got canceled.
He was the guy who invented
Really?
the NRA virus. The NRA
MRA.
vaccine. MRA, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the NRA.
Not the
That's
NRA.
Irish.
The National
mRNA.
Rifle Association.
Yes.
Well, that too. So he texted back a few days later. He said, I'm not surprised, he said, but looking back, and those of y'all who listened to our episode with Wes when he went to the hospital, he said, I'm not upset about them lying to me. I'm upset that they knowingly tried to kill me.
U.S. mainland is under threat as Iran pushes assassinations and kidnapping. So look, it's not just us versus us back in Ukraine versus Russia. All these other players are now wanting to come do things in the U.S. because China's threatened to have cyber attack. If we stand up for Taiwan, they've already made threats.
Yeah.
That we will fight on our country, but I don't mean
should
physically.
Should we go to war for Taiwan?
Isn't Taiwan a lot more important to us than Ukraine?
Is any of them?
Taiwan's highly
Taiwan's
important.
probably more important than Ukraine.
So why,
Taiwan's a buffer between Japan and China. I'm sorry, Gary. What was you saying?
yeah. Why is Taiwan so important?
Oh, I think they're a buffer between China and Japan, and I think Japan and South Korea. I would venture to say, or might be our two biggest allies over England.
Kind of crazy considering like we do
we smoked
guys,
them.
right?
I mean,
Look, I'm America. USA all the way, right?
America.
But is it really our place to prop up the Ukraine or to prop up Taiwan?
We're not propping up Taiwan though.
Not
Why
yet.
don't we just
Not
hook
yet.
up with
We're propping
Mexico?
stuff.
Why don't we just hook up with Mexico
No.
and just run a big narco ring?
I say
across the
invade.
whole
I say
world?
invade Mexico.
They're already invading us.
Basically,
Hey, we could take their people.
We're late to the party,
Look,
Jamie.
take those crossing the border, give them a gun, put them in the military, and we'll attack. We'll take northern Mexico. We'll take northern Mexico back.
Everybody here knows. I assume everybody here knows the Mexican people are some of the greatest people.
They're
on
great
earth.
people.
I love Mexican people.
They have an
They're
awful
awesome.
government.
But I
Awful
like-
government.
yeah.
they're the hardest working people ever. Man, woman, child, anything.
Yeah.
They work
If
so
we
hard.
took their people and ran their government out,
Yeah.
and just expanded America, God, man, we'd be unstoppable.
It's because the cartel owns their government.
That's right.
All right,
production would be so high.
All right, let's talk about a few domestic stories here. Beetlejuice. What comes to mind when you hear Beetlejuice, blah, 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 Beetlejuice?
Michael Keaton.
It used to be Michael Keaton, but now it's Lori Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot.
So for me, it's that bridge with the hole in it where they drove the car off in Beetlejuice. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's how
There's
they
like
died.
a barn-looking bridge. Too,
That's
wasn't it?
Well-
that's such a good movie.
Lori Lightfoot should not be in any of our dreams any longer, any of our thoughts
look,
or prayers.
She's never been in my
That'd
dreams.
be a
She-
kinky dream.
She was just defeated
That's beyond
by a
kink.
landslide her reelection bid for mayor of Chicago. And do you know what she blamed for her loss?
Her poor decisions in politics.
Naomi
Oh,
Campbell.
no.
Naomi Campbell.
No one said Beetlejuice 3 times.
Racism.
That's what I was going to guess second.
I should have known it was the go-to.
She was very quick to suggest her race and gender would play a part into election results. Not that her terrible policies, the fact that crime has
Like
increased
shot through the roof.
She is.
It was already bad before she got there.
Golly,
She
how do
is
you
the
make Chicago
first-
worse?
She's the first Chicago mayor to not be reelected in 40 years.
How do you make Chicago worse?
Is she really?
Yes.
She,
Way to go to Beetlejuice. Way to set that bar.
Well, you cripple the Chicago Police Department, give them zero power, and you expect everything to be cool?
check this out.
It's one of the most violent places
Okay,
in the country.
under her lead, Chicago was averaging in 2020, they had 500 murders. I'm sorry, in 2019 they had 500 more murders. In 2020, 776. In 2021 and 2022, there were 804 murders each of those years. Almost doubled. It almost doubled under her reign.
That's more than 2 a day.
Hey, but gun control.
Shootings and carjackings also skyrocketed. Speaking of crime, I've got to look this story up. I came across something. It was on social media, and I didn't look to see if it was real or not. But in Memphis, there was claims that 43 cars a day are being stolen.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I saw that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
I
happening.
believe that.
That's happening.
43 cars a
Yep.
day.
So when I worked for the local place here that I work for, sometimes there would be several stolen in a night.
And here I can't get mine taken at all.
Really?
Do you know why there's such an increase?
Yep.
Do you-
Because of car parts.
no, not because car.
Because of you.
Gary-
Stealing cars.
Gary, wait a minute. Are
Play
you?
that conspiracy.
Are you?
I was stealing car. We're stealing the car.
Gary, are you running?
We're chop
Are you?
shopping.
You and Rain and Uncle Daryl are chop
We're
shopping.
chop shit. No. What's happening is
Gary's going to come in one day and he's like, all right, guys, I
Beetlejuice.
got to tell y'all, Hector's running spoon engines. Like Fast and the
Hector's
Furious.
yeah. That's a good show.
That's a good one.
movie.
So Gary, what's happening?
So what's happening is that if you guys notice that they're not prosecuting children, kids
Yeah,
under
juveniles
18,
take it.
juveniles now. So I was listening to radio the other day.
Utes.
There's one Ute that had like 9 different offenses within like 3 months of stealing cars.
Okay, so if he's
for a gang,
if he got caught 9 times, how many did he catch? Did he steal and not get caught?
Oh, tons.
tons.
So this-
More than that.
But they catch him and literally let him out, and the very next day he gets caught again. It
So
was
this
insane.
isn't a new thing. We had several
No.
cars stolen out there, and everyone was under the age of 18. But it's exactly what he just said. It's gang related. They have them go out and they steal these cars, and that's their credibility for the
Oh, yeah.
gang, right? The more they take, the more that cred they have. They go to juvie for a couple weeks.
They don't even go to juvie no more.
Slap on the wrist and whatever.
Well, in
Sometimes
Illinois,
an
they
ankle
just let them
bracelet.
go.
They just let them go. They won't prosecute.
So people are not being prosecuted for that, but people are still being prosecuted in California for not wearing a mask. So a man says he was arrested in California for not wearing a mask on the day the state of emergency ended.
What?
Still, in 2023, this fella
It's California,
in
man.
California, and this is the guy that they think will be the next president.
Gavin
A
Newsom?
lot of people think Gavin Newsom.
What's
could be the next
California
president.
like stupid?
Gavin Newsom wasn't wearing a
They
mask.
led the way in it.
Yeah, but beautiful
well,
state.
well, that's just different.
That's different. Why was he allowed not to wear a mask at that party?
But because they're elite. They're elite, not like us commoners. That don't count.
Okay, because the COVID virus does not.
I'm gonna get on a tirade here, but everybody says we have a race issue or a sex issue.
We
all
don't.
all these isms.
We have a classism.
We have a
It's class system.
class system.
Beardism.
We have an elitism.
Are we going to go into the caste system?
We are the caste system.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you've
it's only
been in it.
because of all you racist Republicans.
Look, if anybody thinks that my white privilege would kick in if I did something, take a black millionaire and let them do the same thing.
So are you saying you're waiting on your white privilege to kick in?
I am waiting.
Hey, if we have the Hunger Games, I volunteer for tribute. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I got y'all.
So,
already hungry.
we're out there on that left coast right now. Oregon lawmakers propose, they've got a homeless crisis all up and down, especially on the West Coast, but they are proposing $1,000
Send
per
them to
month
Ukraine.
payments for homeless people.
Send them to Ukraine.
So,
I'll be homeless for $1,000 a month.
so what they're trying to do is pay those people $1,000 a month to stay outside and not come in into people's homes or into foyers or to take over buildings.
well, they shouldn't be doing that anyway.
They pay me $1,000 a month. I'll be homeless too.
They pay me $1,000. I promise not to go in people's homes. I mean,
You rent a $20 a night hotel room. You can make it a month.
Oh, yeah.
So if you earn less than 60% of their area's median income, they'll qualify for 24 months of $1,000 payments.
What?
So along with this in Oregon, there's like almost half of the state has, or the counties in about half of the state close to Idaho,
8 counties.
They want to
8 counties,
secede.
they want to secede.
Yeah.
So do y'all know how different that? And this is basically what you said. Do you know how different certain portions
Oh, yeah.
of Oregon and certain?
Yeah.
There are a
New
lot of
York.
portions of Oregon that are like really, really similar to like Texas.
New York's extremely
California,
rural.
California has
New
northern
York,
states that are completely
Tennessee,
different. Yeah.
you get outside of Memphis, totally different state. But they want to secede. I've got to say, in my 40 some odd years, I've never heard the word succeed used more now than when I was listening to things about the Civil War.
Secede.
Succeed. I was going to say, you're saying
I'm known to
He
butcher
never
this.
heard succeed.
Leaving the Union.
Terry's had
Is
zero
a-
success.
succeed.
Terry,
Is a
all he's
normal-
heard is you'll never succeed.
He's a
You'll never-
failure.
Well, if we try to leave the Union, we probably won't either. But it's definitely a topic for discussion like never before. Like never before. And the reason is because bills like this. So instead of simply taking those people and saying, you can't live on the street, we're going to prop them up and give money to live on the street. There's folks out there in California. The reason it's California, like the snow and the blizzards and the rains is such a big deal, because a lot of these people have built basically mansions in the woods that cost zero to live in upscale neighborhoods, and they're not poor. They just choose to live that way.
I got an extension cord heading to somebody else's house.
Well, and then you have homeless people living
Unhoused.
on the
The
beach.
unhoused.
Unhoused.
Homeless people living on the beach next to, houses that cost millions of dollars, and they've taken over their beachfront property, which is slightly hilarious, honestly.
It is.
Yeah.
It's absurd. is
Hey,
what it
speaking
is.
of domestic stuff, did anybody see Woody Harrelson's monologue?
Oh,
we talked about that already.
Woody Harrelson
When?
is awesome.
You did not listen.
You
I
did not
missed
listen.
that.
I didn't
You
hear
missed
that.
a
did
lot.
not listen. To that.
You just
Oh, I'm very disappointed.
you picked out.
Oh,
clips
they're
and
talking
phrases.
about the other day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Don,
Did
we,
y'all talk about that?
I didn't
He
listen.
didn't.
we talked about the SNL stuff.
Yeah, mhm.
I don't think we specifically talked
All right,
about
so
Woody
Jamie,
Harrelson,
we
though.
knew this would be a point for you. So if you had listened, so nobody, not only did
That's White Man
Jamie
Can't
didn't
Jump.
listen.
I
Right.
listened.
Yeah,
Is that White Man Can't Jump?
yeah. Woody
Okay.
Harrelson.
This shows my age. I just said cheers, but whatever.
Woody Harrelson, he was hosting Saturday Night Live. He was like he hit some milestone, got a jacket for it. The Five Timers Club, that's what it was. But at the start of his monologue, he went on to refer to Pfizer, Moderna as the cartels of the vaccine. They said so the cartel, and it made sense, right? So the cartels went in and bought up all of the politicians, who then told you had to stay in the house forever unless you took these drugs we're giving you.
Yep, it was a great monologue.
I mean, is that an unfair statement?
He said
No, it's exactly right.
He said it's such a crazy
that's what it
script
was.
that he just threw it away.
Yeah, he said he got a script for this and said it was so crazy he just threw it away. He said there's no way this could ever happen in real life, and it did.
It did.
Look, let's not forget a year ago, people were trying to tell you two that y'all couldn't go to work because you weren't vaccinated.
I wish somebody told me I couldn't
You
go to
weren't
work.
vaccinated.
Jamie, what do we?
I wish somebody told me I couldn't go to work.
They did. They
do we
were
tell
trying
them?
to tell you
Yeah.
that you couldn't leave your house, that kids couldn't go to school unless they got vaccinated.
I was essential.
Yeah,
we
You
were
had a little
essential,
sticker
Jamie.
and everything.
Yeah, I had a
bro.
T-shirt that said my name is essential.
I got a little letter to put in my glove box,
Did you do
and
the
I forgot where I
Facebook
put it.
thing where you put a picture and it said "I'm essential"?
No, I did not.
I can't stay home.
All right. Speaking about the vaccine, you had something, Jamie?
no, I was agreeing with Donnie.
Did you hear about what? So look, this is kind of funny. Megyn Kelly was talking about it. You know who Savannah Guthrie is?
I know that
Yeah,
name.
She's on NBC's host
No
of Today
idea.
Show.
she's been on the Today Show. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mid-show on Tuesday, she received a positive COVID test because her co-host actually had tested positive like day before. She took test that morning. Mid-show, she took test and then vamped up out of that joker. And what they were making fun of is Megyn Kelly said, all of it's such a perfect indication of how the left continues to live, because you know that this mother was triple vaxxed and had all of the booster shots, yet she still got the COVID. Look, I've had COVID twice, I think, since
How
January
did
1.
that happen?
I ain't got time
That's
for
crazy.
COVID, man.
Because it's not a vaccine. That's why.
Yeah, did y'all see that thing I sent y'all, Justin Bieber?
He has
What
that
is
Now
that?
he's got a
What
weird
is
disease.
that?
It's a disease.
I looked it up.
I'm not saying it's not tied.
I didn't. I meant to Google it earlier.
I'm not
I don't
saying
know what
it's
it
not
is.
tied to.
It's
but
turned
it's
dark.
normal. It's more normal for an older person.
Yes,
to
it's
have
normal
it.
in your 60s.
Yeah.
He got Lyme disease?
It's
No,
shingles,
no.
essentially.
Ray.
Ramsey Hunt syndrome.
Didn't he have Lyme disease at one point?
One
too,
point he
though?
did, because that's what first
Yeah.
came
It's
up.
Rage Against the Machine herpes.
You know, Lyme disease can screw you up, man. It really can.
Yes, but
What is Ramsey Hunt?
It's a type of
type of herpes.
It's a type of herpes, but it's like shingles, I think.
Yeah.
Well, look, is
got the
anybody
herpes.
surprised he got the herpes?
And he needs some vitamin D,
Well,
apparently.
Anybody surprised?
He got that Bieber fever.
I mean, look,
That don't even rhyme.
Bieber fever does not rhyme. That's right.
Beaver fever.
Bieber.
Beaver
Well,
fever.
Beaver fever does.
But no one's surprised that he
I
got
didn't say
that.
that.
He got
Jamie,
that.
you got the beaver fever.
But maybe he
Always
should.
have.
We used to have a softball team called the Beavers. They
We
were
did.
awesome.
They
You
were
did.
We were like undefeated.
Can't beat. You can't beat the beaver.
That's right.
So crime is rampant. Did you hear what happened in St. Louis earlier this week?
Yeah, that's.
Can you believe it? There's a video of it.
I didn't know. Any
Yeah, I watched part of the video.
So it cuts off at the end.
Thank God.
Thank God
you
it
want to
does.
see guys?
So a
Donnie's
23-year-old
obviously getting
man
smoked.
walks
I
up.
question the validity.
No, it was
No, it
valid.
really happened.
It was valid.
A
Kinda crazy.
23-year-old man walks up to a homeless man sitting on the curb. He loads the gun and shoots him in the back of the head.
Like it videos him loading the gun.
Yeah, his gun skills kind of suck. It
But
took
they
him
did.
up forever.
So
Killed the man.
Why?
So, and the worst
Just
part
'cause.
is somebody said they recorded it and watched.
Just
Was
because.
it like on Facebook Live or something? I didn't hear about this. This
So,
is-
What would you have done if you'd have saw it?
You got to try to stop it, don't you?
You will have to stop.
You should. I mean, it should be the Good Samaritan law.
I mean, the dude had to load the gun.
I mean, he's loading it up. It looked
But
like
mine's already loaded.
and he's pretty slow.
that is
He's
true.
pretty slow to load.
I mean, he was terrible. I mean, I keep mine loaded one of the tube. I mean,
It's like the dude just sits there though,
But
kind
he-
of like because it looks like he recognizes him at some point doing it.
They-
Maybe they've had some beef.
they had
of
a
some
beat. They
sort,
just
yeah.
had a fight, and the homeless guy walks off and sits down.
Why would you sit there if you see a guy loading a gun up?
I'm sure he was high.
Either way, it doesn't give him the reason to shoot him.
No,
No,
it doesn't.
no.
Like it's completely screwed up.
But have we dissolved so much as a society that we'll just, instead of saying, "Hey, son, bitch, look behind you,"
No,
we'll
I-
just
I think in this situation, if you can prove a crime like this, where a person did this to another person for,
But St.
Just an
Louis is
obscene-
not like in the middle of a northern.
you shouldn't have a court case. You shouldn't have any of that. You just
nope,
taken out and just done away with.
nope,
done.
street justice.
Just done.
I got a statistic for you. So, if you were to murder someone in the United States, what do you think your chances of getting away with it are?
High.
70%.
I don't know
Okay,
about that.
Nah, I say
Random acts of violence are hard to track.
I say 60%.
I'm gonna say like 20%. I watch too much Dateline, so
Well, everything they show on Dateline solved.
All right,
you
Gary.
know.
I mean, damn,
Gary, I was leaning towards you. Y'all are a little bit high, but 50. If you were to like kill somebody, especially somebody random, you have a 50% chance. It's a toss of a coin of whether you get away with it or not.
Yeah, random acts of violence are extremely hard to solve.
Yeah, because they're not using guns that are registered. They're using
Well,
guns
not even
that have
that.
been shaved.
If you kill somebody that you have no ties to, I mean,
They also solve.
I've
kinda
never
crazy,
thought
though.
about it.
They also solve all their crimes on Law and Order too.
No, we have this like perception that murdering someone's hard. If you want to kill someone, you can go kill people. It's not hard.
And it don't have to be a gun either. Didn't we talk about that
No, I
the
mean,
last
it's-
episode, T?
I don't know
You
if
and I
done
did.
it.
Gary, nobody
didn't
probably
watch
listened
it.
to that
We
one
didn't
either. He didn't
Yeah.
listen to that one either. But it's actually more likely you kill somebody with your bare hands.
With your
than a gun.
hands. We should all chop off our hands to save people.
Oh, I should have talked about this earlier, but Gary and I probably talked about it too. Did you hear about the song that was written for the Ukraine by a country music singer
Me and Donnie talked about that the other day.
by Brad
I don't
Paisley?
remember.
Oh, y'all did.
Brad
Y'all did
Paisley
record it.
wrote a song. What's it called? Mud on the Tires?
No,
Dude, I was so.
what is it? We, us two,
Us
what-
two.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah, that's
Same
it.
here.
Same here.
Same here.
This piece
I'm
of
sorry, but
shit.
it's not. We're not getting bombed. We're not doing the same here.
No.
We got to get into transgender. We can't help it. A Christian school forfeits the playoff game after discovering biological male would play on the girls' basketball team.
He was
Love it.
hooping, bro.
Love it.
I would have if I was the coach, I'd play and I'd say I identified as.
Hey, I remember I had long hair in high school. I could have hooped him out.
That's right.
That's right.
I need Jamie to throw it to me though.
Look, I loved it. You know, that's stand up for your beliefs. I'm tired of women getting taken advantage of with this whole
Yeah,
scenario.
why are women not being vocal about this?
I think a lot of them are, but
All I can think of is strong woman.
and Macho Man comes
I
out.
am woman, hear me roar.
No, have you never seen the strong woman episode on South Park?
Oh, you gotta love it. Macho
They're doing
Man.
a triathlon, though. This woman just started to identify as a woman, like Macho Man Randy Savage. They're like, I'm the strongest woman here.
So how long ago was that one?
No,
It's
yeah.
like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was at least modern because a lot of the stuff they had about that were like, oh, that never happened, but it did.
It does happen.
But why are the women not storming Washington saying this must stop? They fought too much for their rights. Okay, women's rights are one thing, but why are more people not up in arms over this?
Well, now they're being encroached on by men that want to become women.
Is it Title IX chapter?
it's Title IX.
Title IX is about
Chapter 9 is what I got to file.
equal sports, equal representation in
bankruptcy.
sports.
I never made it to Chapter 9.
We get that 13.
What was it, Chapter 13? I can't remember what
We
it
get
was.
that chapter 13.
But why do they not say no? You're not one of us.
Look, feminists are destroying women. And that's just all
That's
there's to it. The
insane.
modern feminist.
Maybe
feminists,
it's because they support the women's idea to like the death. A lot of liberal type people.
they're not feminists, they're liberals.
They're
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Feminists
it.
are liberals, and they'll go with whatever liberals say.
No, I'm not going to say liberal. I'm going to say progressive because there's a difference.
Yeah, that's
progressive.
fair enough.
Yeah, there's a difference. Just like there's between a Democrat and a liberal.
So they're like, okay, a man can come in and dominate us, and we're okay with that because he identifies as a woman.
Unless it's me and I'm mansplaining then.
Yeah.
Well,
I used to dominate you all the time in my youth, Gary.
are your Utes?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Remember that time I tied you up?
I do remember that
He tied
time.
him up and dominated him.
I did.
You did not dominate me. You just tied me
He
up.
tied you up and dominated you, Gary.
No,
So,
just tied me up.
Strong woman.
Hey, I got something else for you right here, and let me look at it. I just thought about it now. So we talked about Pablo Escobar, and it turned into a movie.
Escobar.
I
like
saw
Escobar.
this. I already know where you're going. Huh?
Yeah. Do you know that it was one of the highest grossing movies this past weekend at the box office?
Awesome.
When did I
beat-
get a portion of that?
It beat out Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I had some reviews. Craig Chafin and those guys went to see it.
Was that the
He
title
said
of
it
the movie?
actually wasn't nearly as good as what we did with it. He did
right.
tell me that. He said that Pablo Escobar was way better, the
Saying
concept.
Cocaine
So-
Bear.
But it was one of those dumb, funny movies. Kind of like Violent Night.
Speaking of movies,
Yeah.
have y'all seen what's coming out next week?
No.
On Hulu.
No.
No. I think I canceled Hulu.
History of the World Part 2.
Oh,
Written by Mel Brooks.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome then.
He's still alive.
Yep. I didn't know that either. But it's got like Wanda Sykes in it. I mean, it is loaded with talent.
I'm just gonna pretend.
Yeah.
Like
Is
I
the
know all
world
these
ready
people.
for
Got
that?
Kroll, what's his name?
Okay, but hold on. But is the
Danny
world?
Kroll?
Is the world? Is the today's world?
I don't know.
ready
We'll
for that?
we'll see because like one of the scenes that shows Wanda Sykes is supposed to be here at Tubman, and this white guy says, "So you like invented the tub?"
Man.
Yeah, but it's
So
we need that humor.
Wanda Sykes,
Yes, we do.
Wanda Sykes' best movie was Pootie Tang.
That is
It
funny.
was.
Pootie Tang.
That is funny. We know, like Harriet Tubman had like some balls. Like what
Oh,
she
yeah,
what
yeah.
she did was
But,
crazy.
Dude, have you ever seen
risky.
History of the World Part 1?
But see, I always rank that up there with those
Like Monty Python.
Monty Python. That's what.
Yeah,
it's like Life of
History of the
Brian.
World is
Those
not
are awesome.
That's not my favorite of his.
No, but
Dude,
yeah.
I'm pumped. I am pumped to watch History
I
of
don't
the
know
World
if the
Part 2.
U.S. is. I don't think the youth of today
The Utes.
will find it as humorous as we do. But that's probably not the demographic they made it for either. They probably made it for old guys like us. You know, we're the old guys.
I made it for
Yeah.
Jamie.
We were born in the 1900s.
What?
Heck yeah, the 1900s.
gosh.
Would you say it like that?
We were in a totally different millennium.
We were.
We were the millennium of
The
Millennium Falcons.
Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton. When Bill Clinton, all his friends were alive. You know that, like the billionaire jumped. He had ties to Clinton.
They were unsuicided.
The guy that was his
Back
neck,
when he was loving women in blue dresses and not suiciding
yeah,
people.
the guy that was his neck tied to the tree, shot in the chest with a shotgun, was a suicide. He was alive back then.
That's great, and they couldn't find the shotgun.
Look, he was flying to Epstein Island.
It flew
Look,
away.
I heard this the other day, and you guys will respect it. They said, look, if it was a list of truck drivers flying to Epstein Island, we would already know who was on that list. And I said, okay, that's
Leroy,
the greatest.
Bobby.
That's the greatest observation
No,
ever.
look, no, not even that. They could give me a list who I was around if I had COVID.
But we cannot get the list of who went to Epstein Island.
Yeah.
So we're going to make up a list. Actually, they're already out there.
We could tell you everybody that set foot on Mar-a-Lago that had access to those secret
Those top
documents.
secret, but we can't tell you the list, even though we have it in writing. We
Yeah.
have a list. We don't know who.
Well,
was
the
on
mean is
Epstein
we
Island.
don't want to give you the list.
Yeah.
Your kiss is on my list.
Wonder who all had access to the Corvette's glove box.
We'd probably know
We-
that list before we know Epstein Island.
Hunter knew that list, so there's that. So
Look, we are still practically 2 years. Well, we're a year and a half, I guess now, away from 2024 elections, and it's heating up a little bit here. It's
Well, we're
heating up.
18 months away.
Yeah.
So do y'all? Never mind. I had a random thought, and I was about to ignore
Well, look,
or,
throw that
go.
random.
So I had a completely random thought. I got off and quit listening
Hey,
to whatever.
it's
I'm
random.
saying.
what?
Right.
So do y'all
Random.
think Hunter Biden holds a security clearance?
No, he can't.
I'm not sure Joe Biden holds.
I
a
think
security
yeah.
clearance.
You don't think he has to hold one in his rank? But how does he hold one if you have him smoking crack on like a video?
But he don't have any rank.
He has nothing.
Yeah, he's nothing.
He
But
walks
to
in.
have access to the things.
He walks
You don't
into-
think so?
He walks into the White House.
Isn't it crazy though?
gets
I
on a
don't know
private
why I
jet.
thought about that, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
but his dad books him
well,
a
he's
private
just a
jet.
family member of the president, right?
Yeah, but his
So crazy.
dad books him a jet to go negotiate to get money.
to get man.
I mean, that's his whole purpose in life. Look, if I sent Sam on a private jet to get money, he's not come back with shit. I'm
Look,
sorry, he's just not. He's just going to go
it-
over there
it-
and say,
a
"My
good
daddy wants you to
example-
give us some money."
A good example is Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy Carter. You remember? So
That's crazy, man.
You know what Billy Carter did when Jimmy was in office? He created his own beer. There's Billy beer.
All right, let's go.
My dad used to have a 6-pack of Billy beers.
You know, Hunter Biden walks into the White House, and
Is this a joke?
no, he
That
doesn't.
sounds like a joke.
Sounds like a joke. But he's the guy that walks in and says, "Let me hold something.
Let me hold.
Let me hold something." That's him.
Let me hold 20.
He be like, "Hey man, you got $5? You got $5?"
And they're like, "Just go away, Hunter, and we'll give you a document. Go on." And then he goes and makes millions. That's how he does it.
He makes millions. So, look, I think I'm running out of topics for tonight.
I think we've been all right.
So, Look, this is Donnie's last night in studio. Donnie, you get to
Yeah,
you get
like,
to
roll
start
away
the
forever.
parting thoughts. What's your parting thoughts for the night? Look, we got a 3-day
The
weekend.
people need something for real because
They
you
need
might not,
something.
they won't see you for a month.
I may be able to record with you.
They won't see you for a month.
Maybe.
It's gonna be tough.
Definitely won't see me for a month.
We'll find a picture of him with the bowl cut from high school. That'll be his picture we bring up when he,
I'm gonna be I'll be closer to
And
Ukraine
we'll hit
than
it.
you
La, la, la,
guys.
la, 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 and they'll be like, "Hey, this is Donnie. I'm remote."
he'll come back.
Well, he'll be praying
to the west.
He'll be praying every hour to the west.
Yeah, well, I won't be, but other people will be. I'll be hanging out.
You'll be home before Easter, won't you?
When's Easter?
April.
It's such a
Oh,
moving
yeah.
but such a moving target.
April 8th or something.
I think
it's
so,
Easter.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend. I don't know. Easter in the Holy Land might be cool.
I bet it would be cool.
My goals are to be alive for 3 weeks, come home.
Jordan ain't the Holy Land though.
Nah, it's
It is
not
not
No,
far.
no.
You're closer to the Holy Land than we are.
It's Holy
Oh,
Land
look.
adjacent.
Jordan's different, right? It's not the U.S.
Like
But
Air
it's-
Jordan?
It's not.
Yeah, it's named after Michael Jordan.
It's not your normal Muslim type.
It's named
place,
after the
is it?
goat.
And Memphis is in Egypt, so there's that.
Yeah. So I want to go to the country of LeBron.
LeBron.
The country of LeBron. All right, Gary, you got any parting words
Uh,
for the audience tonight?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna support the Department of Energy and say that COVID virus came from the Wuhan lab.
Damn it. We're not getting any viewers now. Now we have 0 viewers because they're not going to let us be out there. Way to go, Gary.
Hold on, I got supporting evidence from the Department of Energy. Does that not count?
Okay.
Cool, man.
I have the Department of Energy on my side.
Look, Jamie, we had a whole episode without Jamie. Well, he was on the end, but nobody watched that far in. They only watched you and I. Jamie,
Actually, I fast forward through y'all and just watch it all four of us
Jamie, what kind of parting thoughts you got for us this evening?
here. History of the World Part 2. Let's go watch that shit,
Let's do
man.
it. I may watch it.
Mel Brooks might be dead. He might be
When's
dead
it
right
come
Donnie,
now.
out?
you should
When's
watch
it come out?
March 6th.
You
Okay,
should
I'm gonna
watch
watch it.
History of the World Part 1 first.
You should watch Part 1. But if you love any Mel Brooks stuff,
If anybody knows how I can watch the NCAA
So look,
tournament while I'm in a Mine Jordan,
ESPN.com.
drop it.
That's it.
Is it going to be there?
it'll be
it'll be
it'll be TBS and True TV.
Nice.
But look, History of the World. Is that going to include Zelensky playing the piano?
I don't know what's going to include. We know Gregory
Private.
Peck was it Gregory Peck that was in that in the original?
I don't know. Look, I need y'all to hit the like button. I forgot to tell you earlier. Hit that like button. Go find us. Because you know what?
Smash that like
Smash
button.
it.
Smash that subscribe button.
Cause somebody done took from an outlaw.
You're off.
I'm off. You cut me off.
You cut me off.
I'm living in the clouds and I ain't
Hold on.
gonna fall.
May the Swartz
Somebody
be with
done
you.
saved this outlaw.
The sheriff's
The Swartz.
the sheriff's
He cut me off.